Well, hello, good morning everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. I hope you guys are doing wonderful. Today I have an interesting video for you. I have another offering from Thrunite. This is the Catapult V6 in the SST70 version. Now, I want to say thank you to Thrunite right off the bat for sending this out for review. Let's go ahead and open this package up and see what's included with this flashlight. So the first thing that you see right off the bat here is this little card that's reminding us to make sure that the tail cap is tight because these lights come shipped in manual lockout mode. They won't work until you tighten down that tail cap. So that's the first thing we see. The next thing that we see here is the user's manual, and again you can see that this is for model SST70 of the Catapult V6. So fantastic flashlight. This is a thrower of a light, so it has a long distance of throw. And I want to get to the technical parameters real quick because that's the part of the owner's manual that I like probably the most. This is the part that gives you all the detailed information, all the specs and things like that of this light. So right here you have a little bit of operation information about the light, how to turn it on, how to turn it off, how to charge it, things like that. And then over here is some warranty information. So that is the owner's manual. Now right here you can see this is a little bit of information. I think this is warranty information here. This little card here. So in case you have any service problems, you need to get a hold of Thrunite. This is the information that you can use to reach out to them for warranty purposes. And the next thing that we see here is a small gift card. So I thought that was pretty cool. Subscribe to the Thrunite YouTube channel and get a free flashlight. That's interesting. I'm subscribed and I've never gotten a free flashlight. Hello Thrunite, where you at, people? So the next thing that we see right off the bat here is this little package, and in this package you have a few things. So you have two replacement charge port covers, you have a split keyring, you have a lanyard, and then it looks like there's two O-rings. I want to make sure, so let me just go ahead and open this up and verify how many O-rings we have here. So I see two O-rings right there. Okay, I'll set them there for a second. And then again, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so yes, we have two charge port covers, a split keyring, two O-rings, and a lanyard. So very nice little package included with the flashlight. And while I have the lanyard out, let's take a quick look at that. So very nice lanyard. It's got some micro cord here, so this is very strong, thin cord. It reminds me of like a Type 1 paracord. And then again, the lanyard is pretty nice. I don't personally use a lanyard on a flashlight, but some people do. So very nice that they include this with the light. Those replacement O-rings are nice because that's what keeps the IPX8 waterproofness of this light. So in the event that those O-rings get worn out over time, I think it's a very nice gesture that Thrunite sends replacements when you purchase a brand new light, so it just keeps the longevity of the light, you know, by having those replacements. So let's go ahead and close that bag up. And the next thing that we see here in the package is the charging cable. So it's got USB 2 to USB-C. Wow, good job Thrunite. I like that quite a bit. Big improvement. So I'm very happy to see that. So seeing that they've changed to USB-C is very, very nice. So the next thing that we see here in the package is nothing left in the package. So we have the flashlight itself, and it comes in a very nice little pouch, a nice little holster, if you will. So it's got a plastic D-ring here on the back side of the holster. It's got a nice little loop here where you can put your belt through. Very basic holster, nylon material, okay? It's got a Velcro enclosure on the front, so it's pretty nice. Very basic though, but it's kind of like the bare minimum of what you would need for a flashlight anyway. You don't really need a lot. Looks like it's built pretty well. So then inside, you can see, there's the holster there. And inside we have the flashlight itself. So again, we are taking a first look at the brand new Catapult V6. This is the SST70 version, and they're referencing the LED that is in this light. So if you look at the lens here, you can see a very wide pattern. And there's a look at that LED inside. So very nice. Smooth reflector, glass lens, stainless steel lens bezel there. And then right here on the side, this is very nice. Look at that. USB-C charging port. Good job. Thumbs up to Thrunite for doing that. Because if you look at the previous version of the Catapult V6, okay, and you pull this port over, it had micro USB. Okay, so big changes, big positive right there. Huge thumbs up to Thrunite for upgrading that. I really like that. So there's a look at the light. It looks very nice. You got a stainless steel switch with a power level indicator on the inside of that. There is the loop where you can put the lanyard, so you can put your lanyard through that hole right there. Again, this light looks like it's manufactured very well. So let's go ahead and take off the battery tube and look at the construction of the head of the light. You have a solid contact point. Very nice. Looks like they did a good job on this one. And then inside the battery tube, you've got dual springs down there, and it's a nice thick battery tube. And then if you look at the battery tube, you got that exposed O-ring right there. So you get two replacements for that. Again, when you close this, when you tighten this battery tube against the head of the flashlight, that O-ring gets smashed underneath here, and that creates that IPX8 waterproof standard. Now, that waterproof rating must be with this charge port, you know, in place. It's got to be intact. If it's not intact, you're going to lose that IPX8 waterproof standard. So here is the included 26650 lithium ion rechargeable battery. This battery runs at 3.7 volts and it has a capacity of 5,000 milliamp hour. Now it's kind of a flat top looking battery, where the previous version had the same kind of battery, but it was a button top. So I've played with these lights off camera, the old Catapult V6 and this one, and the batteries are able to be swapped back and forth, so no problems there, even though that other battery was a button top. But they work, you know, in both flashlights. Now I've already taken the liberty to charge this battery before doing this video, and one thing I want to make note of right off the bat is look at the thickness of the battery housing. So it's very thick. And I can tell you that they've made this knurling here on the body of the battery tube, it's less aggressive than the previous version. So we'll insert the battery like that. We're going to put the positive of the battery towards the head of the light, and we will screw that in. And again, remember that little card that said make sure everything's nice and tight, which we can do. Now, operating this light is extremely simple. You've got a lot of modes. If you long press, you will enter a firefly mode. This is 0.3 lumens, and on this setting, it'll last 70 days. That is fantastic. 70 days of runtime on moonlight mode, or firefly mode rather. Now, if you single press, it turns the light off. And then if you single press again, the light will turn on, and the light has a memory, so it'll come on to the last mode that was accessed prior to the light being turned on. So you can see that I held the power switch down and I scrolled through the functions, and now we're looking at low. Now on low here, this is 31 lumens and it'll last 86 hours. If you want to convert that into days, That's 3.58 days. So 3.5 days of runtime on this setting. Again, if you push and hold, you'll bump up to medium. This is 270 lumens. It's a very good setting. And on this setting, the light will last for 9 hours of runtime. And then again, if you go, there's low, there's medium, there's high. High is 1417 lumens for 102 minutes or 1.7 hours. Now if I double press, we will get up to turbo, which is 2836 lumens. That'll last for 220 seconds, and then to prevent overheating after 3.6 minutes or 220 seconds, whichever way you want to look at it, it'll reduce down to 1313 lumens, and then from there it'll last an additional 89 minutes or 1.48 hours. So turbo is fantastic on this light. I know that the camera might have got blinded a little bit by turbo because again we were dealing with 2800 lumens. Very crazy. Again, 220 seconds, and then to prevent the overheating it drops down to 1313 for 89 minutes or 1.48 hours. Now if I am on turbo and I double press again, look at what happens. We go into a strobe function. Strobe is 1120 lumens, and it'll last for 210 minutes or 3.5 hours. So very cool. Single press turns the light off. Another single press turns the light back on to the previously used setting prior to turbo or strobe. Okay, so it'll remember low, medium, or high. Now if I'm on Firefly, see we're on Firefly, it will not remember Firefly. It'll just remember low, medium, or high. So for example, we're on low. If I turn it off and I turn it back on, we're on low. Okay, so very cool that this light has a memory. Now some of the ratings of this light as far as specifications is this light has a throw of 692 meters. That's a fantastic throw, and this light produces some very, very remarkable run times. This light has a candela rating of 120,000 candela. It's impact resistant down to 1.5 meters. It's waterproof down to 2 meters to an IPX8 level. Very, very cool. This light weighs 203 grams, and that's without the battery. And the dimensions of the light is 138 millimeters long, 58 millimeters is the diameter of the head, and the body of the light is a 33.5 millimeters. Okay, here we are. We are by the sink. I want to make sure that the charging port cover is in place. Let's go ahead and turn the light on. We will drop it down under the water, and you can see that the light is perfectly fine under the water. Let's bring it out and go through the modes. Medium, high, low, medium, high. Double press coming up for turbo. Ooh, that's bright. And another double press for the strobe. Very good. Single press turns it off. Long press turns the light to Firefly. And as you can see, this light clearly passes the IPX8 waterproof testing with flying colors. I just love the way these flashlights are nowadays, where you can put them in the water and it doesn't hurt them. This is something fairly new to flashlights, at least in the last probably 15 years. But before that, when you had the old mag light back in the day, that thing could get rained on, but it wasn't going to be able to go under water. So I really like that these lights pass the IPX8 waterproof standard. It's very nice seeing them be able to do that. Okay, here we are. We are looking at the lowest setting. This is the Firefly mode. This is 0.3 lumens, and again, this will last for 70 days. That is a fantastic runtime, and it's a large amount of light for such a good runtime. Looking off in the distance there, you cannot really see too well what's going on, so I'll bump it up to low. This is 31 lumens, and on this setting it'll last 86 hours. That's 3.5 days. If I bump it up to medium, we bump up to 270 lumens for 9 hours of runtime. And then if I bump it up, there's low, there's medium, there's high. This is 1417 lumens for 102 minutes. That's 1.7 hours. Now if you look at the way the light is broadcast over there, you got a really nice tight hot spot with the wide kind of peripheral type beam. So you can see everything in this building, but it really focuses on that central hot spot, and that's what gives this light the really nice throw. Now if I double press 1, 2, we'll get up to turbo, 2836 lumens for 3.6 minutes, and then it'll drop down to 1313 lumens for 89 minutes or 1.48 hours. And again, these lights drop down to prevent overheating. So strobe warning, we are dealing with 1120 lumens of strobe. This will last 3.5 hours. Now a single press turns the light off, and another single press brought us back to high, because that's where we were before we entered turbo or strobe. So again, pushing and holding the button, low, medium, high, low. If I turn it off and I long press, gives us that firefly, which you can barely see. And then again, you see we're on low, and right there in front of the camera there, you see the blue battery level indicator telling us that our battery life is good. So there's medium, there's high, low, medium, high. Double press for turbo, and again double press for strobe. Single press and another single press. Hopefully you enjoyed those night shots. This light is heating up a little bit in my hand, but it's not hot by any means. It's just warm. So right now we're taking a look at the power level indicator. You can see that it's blue, and what that's telling us is that our battery life, or our capacity left in our battery, is between 21 and 100%. Now in the event that this battery gets lower, and this light will turn red, and when it's red, it's telling us that our battery life is between 11 and 20%. And then of course after red, when the battery continues to decline, you'll see this indicator turn flashing red, and when it's flashing red, that's between 1 and 10% of the battery life left. And of course, if you see the battery life power level indicator turn off, then it's one of two things. It's either we are in firefly mode, which is again the lowest mode, which conserves battery power, so you won't see a power level indicator, or if you're on low, medium, or high, or SOS, or turbo, or any other setting than firefly, and you do not have a power level indicator, then that's telling us that our battery voltage is at 0%. So you're probably wondering what my final thoughts are on this light. I can honestly say that I like this light. I think Thrunite did a very, very good job with this light. I loved the previous version of the Catapult V6. It's still a fantastic light, one of my favorites. And so what I think's happened here is I think they've taken a very, very good light and made it better. I love the change that they did by making it USB-C. I think that was very smart. Again, folks, I want to say thank you for stopping by today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure that you're checking the description box down below, because I'll put links where you can find this light. And until next time, folks, again, thank you for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.